So Jim Schlossnagle dominated the news cycle on Tuesday. For those who maybe were living under a rock, Jim Schlossnagle was the head baseball coach at Texas A&M. He is now the head baseball coach at Texas. Now, what makes this interesting is Texas A&M was 7 outs away from winning the College World Series on Sunday night. Then Tennessee forced a game 3. Then Tennessee beats them by a run in the deciding game on Monday. On Tuesday, Schlossnagle is announced as the Texas coach. Now, adding to the intrigue of this, Texas fired its coach on Monday, or at least announced that it was firing its coach on Monday. And so the rumors were rampant. Remember, Schlossnagle had worked for a while at TCU. Chris Delconte, the athletic director at Texas, was the AD for a time when Schlossnagle was at TCU. So there was a lot going on that day. But Jim Schlossnagle gave us a master class in how not to handle when you are leaving for another job. He screwed this up every possible way you could screw this up and looks terrible. So as a public service, I'm going to help the other coaches who ultimately you're going to cut and run at some point from a job. Even Nick Saban, who just retired after tons of years at Alabama. Remember, he said, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. Then he became the Alabama coach. That was when he was the Dolphins coach. It's going to happen to you. You're going to have some success. Somebody's going to want you. You're going to want to leave. And you're going to have to answer questions about it. And you're going to have to figure out how to make the most graceful exit possible in a situation that is never going to be perfect and is never really going to allow you any grace. Because the way college sports works is, hey, you got to start recruiting right now. We need you right now. You got to change jobs right now. So you're never going to get an easy out here. But there are ways to handle it, and there are ways to not handle it. And Jim Schlossnagle handled it as poorly as humanly possible. Well, maybe not. Jeff Fuller in the chat says, Andy, who did it worst? The A&M baseball coach leaving for Texas or Bobby Petrino leaving the Falcons for Arkansas? So let's travel back in time to 2007. Bobby Petrino is in the middle of his first season as the Atlanta Falcons head coach and decides, I can't do this anymore. I was supposed to have Michael Vick. I don't have Michael Vick. This ain't happening. I'm going to Arkansas. He left a note in each player's locker, typewritten, not handwritten. There would have been a lot of handwritten notes, but Atlanta Falcons players, out of my respect for you, I am letting you know that with a heavy heart, I resigned today as head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. This decision was not easy, but it was made in the best interest of me and my family. While my desire would have been to finish out what has been a difficult season for us all, circumstances did not allow me to do that. I appreciate your hard work and wish you the best. Sincerely, Bobby Petrino. Circumstances meaning I don't want to do this anymore and Arkansas is going to pay me some money. This was a Monday night of a game week. They had played 13 of 16 regular season games. He's calling the Hogs by the end of the night. So yeah, Bobby Petrino handled that very badly. But if you want to see how to do it worse, here is Jim Schlossnagle after his teams lost to Tennessee in the national title game with a question from Robert Zane of Texags, who is asking the question that everybody who follows Texas A&M and Texas wants to know the answer to.
Okay, last question. Coach, with respect to the difficult outcome tonight, but with the rumors circulating today about a specific job opening, what do you have to say about your future in Aggie land?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. And that's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question. But I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. So write that.
Write that. The reporter is selfish for asking the question that everybody wants to know the answer to? The question that's on everyone's mind? Who's more selfish? Let's have a pop quiz. Who's more selfish? The reporter whose job it is to ask the question that everybody's asking, or the coach who's about to stab his team and his employer in the back and go to their rival? Like, you were 12 hours away from stabbing them in the back, and you're lecturing a reporter on selfishness? Like, that is how stupid this all was. You look like a complete hypocrite. Like, if I'm recruiting against you, I'm going to show this clip to the parents of every player you're recruiting and be like, you want to play for that guy? He's about to completely bail on his team. He's worried about a reporter asking him a question. Now, the Texas fans, thinking this makes it better, defended Jim Schlossnagle by saying, well, you know, he did the same thing when he left TCU for Texas A&M. He said, I'm not leaving TCU. I don't care that he said he wasn't leaving. And really, if you parse that entire statement that he made and in the answer to that question, he never said he's staying at Texas A&M either. So if you were eagle-eared, there you saw some stuff in there. But the fact that he handled it badly at TCU, now he didn't berate the reporters at TCU. He just said, in general, something similar, a similar type statement to that. And then he left a couple days later. Well, that tells me he does not learn from mistakes that have simple solutions. And that's not a good quality either. Look, here's how you answer that question. Everybody's like, well, it's a very difficult. How would you answer? Like, thousands of coaches before you have answered that question in a very effective way. It's still going to be awkward. It's always going to be awkward. But they don't look as stupid afterward. It's very simple. When you get asked that question, you say, I understand you have to ask that question, but I'm here to talk about my team and those guys in that locker room that have given their heart and soul to Texas A&M this season and this special year. It didn't end the way we wanted, but we're going to celebrate this because those guys gave everything. That's it. That's all you got to say. Nobody's going to ask you again. But he didn't say that. No. He called the reporter selfish when he was about to stab his own team in the back. There's a better way to do this. Here's an example, recent example. So right after the national title game in football, I asked Jim Harbaugh a question, and it was a question that either I was going to ask him or one of the other 10 people with their hands raised in the press conference were going to ask him because it was the question everybody wanted the answer to. Okay, so that's Jim Harbaugh. He does the, mock annoyed, like, can I just enjoy this? And I realize he's won the game. He didn't lose the game. But then he very quickly moves into the prepared answer he had because he had prepared for that question because he knew everybody's going to be asking because we all knew he was looking at NFL jobs. Spoiler alert, he left for the NFL. But you have to ask that question. And in that particular case, like Jim Harbaugh is like the one coach who might pull the Nick Nolte and Blue Chips and just do it right there at the podium. Yeah, I'm done. It's been great. So you have to ask the question. I'll give you one more, and this is the galaxy brain version of it. So if you're a coach who's about to leave your job and you want a better way to handle this, I know everybody thinks I just bag on Lincoln Riley. This is going to be the day of saying nice things about Lincoln Riley, because this is a masterclass right here. I said the Schlossnagle is a masterclass in what not to do. This is a masterclass in what you do. One, to answer this question, and two, to get everybody off your back while you're trying to go to another job. So here is Lincoln Riley answering a question from our guy, Kerry Murdoch at Sooner Scoop after the loss in the 2021 Oklahoma State game.
Lincoln, are you shocked that you've gotten this far without anybody asking you about all the rumors this week?
I'm just
saying I'm gonna ask you about it, so I might as well. I mean, it's nonstop. I mean, it's every day.
Hold up, Gary. I'm not going to be the next head coach at LSU.
Can I ask you?
Next question.
Brilliant. He was not going to be the next head coach at LSU. He said a 100% true statement. There's no trying, like with Schlossnagle, we're trying to parse what he said. Did he really say he was staying? Did he leave the door open? No. Lincoln Riley said, I am not going to be the next coach at LSU, which was 100% true. And which, interestingly enough, Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly share an agent. It's possible Lincoln Riley was one of about 6 people who knew that Brian Kelly was going to take the LSU job the next day. But that is brilliant. Now, unfortunately, there were no other high-profile baseball jobs for Schlossnagle to say he wasn't going to take. But it would have been funny if he'd said, I'm not going to be the next LSU coach, because Jay Johnson would have been like, huh? What? That's the actual LSU coach. But nobody's going to take issue with you there. Yes, I realize Oklahoma fans still got mad at Lincoln Riley, but the jilted fan base is always going to be mad. The key here is not to make everybody else mad. So Lincoln Riley did it. He said something that was 1,000,000% true. He was not going to be the next LSU coach. And it got everybody off his. Now, he actually did take a follow-up in that press conference and talked about the conversations that needed to be had at Oklahoma. But if you want to spin that his way, you can be like, well, he had those conversations the next day as he was deciding whether to go to USC or not. But for Schlossnagle, if you're going to do this again, and you've done it twice, so you might do it again. The next time you do this, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to talk about my team tonight. That's it. Don't get mad. If you're actually looking at another job, it's your fault that question's being asked. So don't get mad at the person asking it. Just say, I'm going to talk about my team tonight, and that's it. And then you're done. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples On 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.